gorgeous day in sunny Las Vegas, and you're spending part of it watching Getting Real Estate in Vegas. I'm Bridget Magnus, and this is the Vegas Video Network. We would like to thank those of you who are watching on the Vegas Video Network, those of you who are subscribed to your favorite content on iTunes, including Pub Crawl, awesome show, go watch it. Those of you who are catching us on YouTube, those of you joining us on Roku, and a special thanks to those of us listening on the radio, KSHP 1400 AM from 6 to 10 p.m. on Friday evenings. Now, if you have a question, problem, or suggestion, go ahead and get ready to send that in. The email address is gettingreal@vegasvideonetwork.com. We also have a toll-free chat line. That's 866-966-4599. Easy to remember. Go for it. You can also join us on our live chat right here, right now. So let's get started. Thank goodness it's Friday. Let's start off with some Friday figures. All right, no great shock. We do have continuing declining inventory. Right now we have 13,254 available units. Median price on a single-family home is $137,000. Median on a condominium is $55,000, and median on a townhome is $80,000. Of that total, we do have 2,755 foreclosed bank-owned homes. Median price on those is remaining steady at $107,000. We do have 6,028 short sales available right now. Median price on those is steady at $110,000. And we do also have 4,475 classics, that's non-distressed properties. Median price $180,000. In the last 30 days, we have closed 3,944 properties. The median sales price was $106,000, and the median, the median list price was $110,000. We do also have 13,348 properties under contract waiting to be sold. Rentals, for those of you who are into that, we do have 5,353 available rentals and 2,463 new leases, both with a median rent of $1,100. So let's move on to just a little bit of news here. Foreclosure filings are down year over year nationwide. I think that's cause for excitement all over the place. Hopefully that trend will continue. Housing inventory is not just down here, it is down nationwide. Another good thing when it comes to a potential housing recovery. Vegas actually has a high level of sales, mostly propelled by investors with cash. One last little thing before we move on. This week I did get the brand new list of homes available for sale from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. For those of you who would like a full color copy with photos of all the homes, please drop us an email so that I can make sure you get your copy today. So then, with 70% of Vegas homes underwater and 25% of homes underwater nationwide, it is very clear that some of those homes are just on the breaking point, where a few $1,000s either way is a big deal. So today I want to talk about some home improvement projects that can mean the difference between you taking a check away with you at closing or you having to bring a check to closing. So let's get on and tell you sellers what you need to do to get top dollar for your home. Number one, most important thing, get yourself some paint. Start working. A fresh coat of paint will make everything look fresh, clean. I especially am a proponent of going ahead and giving your front door a nice fresh coat of paint to make it look fresh and inviting. Depending on your individual conditions, consider painting rooms, consider painting the exterior. If you've painted something a wild color, I'm talking about you in the pink house. This is a good time to go ahead and fix that. Now also, while we're talking about the outside of the house, go ahead and fix up any landscape issues that need to be taken care of. Go ahead and trim that big overgrown tree or bush out front. Go ahead and replace the dead shrubs. Go ahead and spend a little money on some seasonal flowers to perk the place up. Go ahead and pull some weeds. That will make everything look happier and, frankly, could mean the difference between a potential buyer going into your home or just getting back in the realtor's car and driving away. So you definitely want to make sure that the outside of your house looks just as great as the inside of your house. Speaking of the inside, I have harped on this one before, and I'm sorry, I gotta say it again. Go ahead, clean and declutter. Put away the Star Wars action figures and the Jefferson Mint collector's plates. Go ahead and wash out the sinks and the tubs. Go ahead and try to dust the ceiling fans. If you're my height, they make gizmos to help you do that. But you do need to make sure that you clean and declutter. Now, if you are like most people, you have a number of little annoying projects, and some of them probably have to do with plumbing. Go ahead, fix the leaky faucet now. If you've got a toilet that every now and again gets in a snit and backs up, hire someone to figure out why and fix it, because believe me, the potential buyers will find all of these little annoying things, and they will start to wonder what they're missing. So go ahead and do that. My last tip for you sellers as you are trying to get things done, I've dedicated an entire episode to this, so do be sure to look it up. Staging. Basically, you're trying to make your home look as inviting and as possible in a way that makes the buyer look like he could see his stuff sitting there. So again, this goes above and beyond decluttering. This is, making sure that you don't have too much furniture in the place, things of that nature. And there are professionals who can help you if you are not sure what to do. All right, today I am very excited. I have an absolutely wonderful What Were They Thinking for you.
Dun 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 dun.
Yes, for the price of a mid-level sedan, this can be yours. Firewood is included. And with that, we're just going to take a little break for station identification and making sure that we laugh our butts off. See you in a minute with some real advice.
Hi, this is Scott Pritchard from Let's Bet. You're watching the Vegas Video Network. It's Vegas Video Network, not .com. You're not using this one, right? Don't you dare use this one.
All right, welcome back. We are going to continue to focus on sellers, and we are going to be talking about those sellers among you who might be investors. I mentioned a few minutes ago that one of the reasons that our sales are so high in Vegas right now is that we have lots of investors with cash. And believe me, I'm dealing with my fair share of them. They come in two varieties. There are those that want to buy the place, put in a tenant, and get the rent. And there are those who plan to fix and flip. Even those that are planning on putting in a tenant will eventually decide that they need to move on, diversify their portfolio, get rid of some properties. We also have what many people call the accidental landlord. That would be the people that, they got the job in LA but couldn't sell the house in Las Vegas, so they went ahead and put it up for rent. Whatever the reason is, there comes a time for many landlords when they have to sell their property. And that is where the realtor comes in. So let's talk about some tips for selling a tenant-occupied home. The first thing that I want to point out, because it's a very, very important thing, the last thing in the world you want to do is upset the tenant. There are a couple of practical reasons for this. First of all, they might make it difficult for possible buyers to come and see the place. The other reason is they live there. They could trash the place and leave you with a lot of expensive repairs. So we're going to talk about making everything run smoothly so that tenant is not your adversary and is on your side as you try to sell the property. Now, the first thing that I think anybody would recommend is before that listing even hits the MLS, go ahead, sit down, have a talk with that tenant, preferably face-to-face, and explain that you are selling the property. One of the things that you are going to want to make sure you explain to them is that they will not find themselves in a situation where they have to move in a hurry. In most states, including the state of Nevada, the new owner will be required to honor the lease. Hopefully you have a lease, right? Because that's important. So if your lease says that they can live there until next June as long as they pay the rent, the new people have to honor that lease. Now, if you're in a situation where you have a month-to-month lease, say you used to have a lease but it expired, or you have a verbal lease, you can and should reassure your tenant that they will have reasonable notice, say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, so that they can get their affairs in order and not be pressured to move right away. Also assure them that they will be notified in advance if someone wants to see the property, if there is going to be an inspection, an appraisal, what have you. Generally, a rule of thumb is that we should give at least 24 hours notice, and I think that is a good guideline that you can follow reasonably in any area of the country, even if you're not in Las Vegas. Now, there are a couple of ideas that amount to bribery. You can resort to these if you need to. If you have to, you can offer that tenant a bounty for every time they have to let someone come see the home. Don't pay it to them up front. Tell them they will darn well get it at closing. Remember, you got to have that carrot on the other end of the stick, right? Another thing that you can do for them is offer to help pay their moving expenses. Or you can just flat off offer them cash for keys. Just say, listen, I'll give you $1,000 to be out of here by the end of next month. That might work. If you're desperate enough, sure, give it a try. You might also sweeten the pot with, say, a gift certificate to their favorite store or restaurant. Now, I don't know that I necessarily advocate bribery, but I'm sure that it absolutely has its place. Now, the one thing, though, that I do not want to let escape your attention, some of you who are investors do have the idea that because it is tenant occupied, it should sell at a premium to market rate. After all, another investor won't have to spend time making the unit ready, finding a tenant, all of these annoying little things. Now, that there is some merit to that, and if your new buyer is a tenant, that's a valuable perk. However, let's say that your new buyer is an investor who wants to fix and flip, then that's not going to help them. They want that tenant out of there so they can fix it up and sell it to someone else. If the new buyer is planning on moving in, obviously they cannot move in until your tenant moves out. So that's a negative asset to them. That is not something that they probably want to deal with. And I think most buyers agents would probably recommend that, if we've got 10 properties and one of them is tenant occupied, let's drop that one from the list first. So you investors are smart people. You know that if you reduce the number of people who are interested in your property, you also reduce the amount that you're likely to get for it. So it does come out to a wash. You're probably not going to get a premium for your tenant-owned property, and I'm very sorry. However, if you want help dealing with that tenant and making sure that the sale goes smoothly, a good realtor is absolutely your ally, and I'd love to be that ally. So, that being said, I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in to the show today. I do hope everyone has a safe weekend. Remember to send those questions, problems, and suggestions to us by email at gettingreal@vegasvideonetwork.com. Those of you who are more verbally oriented can reach the toll-free hotline at 866-966-4599. If you have a personal real estate need, want to see the full version of the Friday Figures, or want to get your hands on that list of HUD-owned homes, contact me through bridgetmagnus.com, and otherwise, have yourself a terrific weekend.